Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you a build that I'm really surprised no one is playing because it's actually really strong, and that is Jhin Command Minions for Varashta. This is very much a minion build, except it plays entirely like a caster, so you don't just stand there passively waiting for all your minions to deal the damage. All your damage actually only happens when you press your command skills for your Jhin. And this build is really strong from really early. The Act 1 is pretty mediocre, but whenever we get our first Ascendency and we get our Kalari Jhin, we start slapping. We immediately start just one-shotting every monster pack, and bosses melt really fast too. And it doesn't whatsoever slow down as we get to the end game, and it's super easy to gear. I really recommend this one. So what we're going to be looking at in this video is from level 1 all the way up to tier 15, just to get you a little bit ready for the end game. There's going to be a whole lot of detail, too much detail maybe for some, and so I'll leave chapters on the video so that you can, more easily follow and come back to something if you need to. And just please leave a like in the video before we start with the guide. Actually, it really helps with the channel growing and the video getting to more people. From level 1 to level 5, we're going to be relying mostly on Contagion, but something that also is really good and applies to pretty much every caster build, I'm here in Act 1 again to show you, is Voltaic Staff especially, but kind of any weapon will be good, because weapon damage is going to be the most of our damage for bossing for sure. And then if you have a Voltaic Staff like this one, it's going to deal a lot of damage even when you're clearing. Don't mind the Jhin showing up. But besides that, we're going to be using this ability, the Lightning Bolt, to killing the target we use Contagion on, right? Just imagine this guy's going to have Contagion. You're going to use this, boom, done. And if you do start with the Voltaic Staff, you want to use Unleash support on it to be even better. And I do really recommend that you look for this weapon. It's really good. It makes things way smoother and faster. And all of the stuff that I'm talking about is going to be on this mobilitics guide that I've put together. I put a lot of work into it. And for this first part, from 1 to 5, there's also going to be some Twink Uniques mentioned here that you can grab. Some are really cheap and I really do recommend. And I'm going to be talking about all the gear you should be getting and so on. So even though this is going to be a minions build, for now, it is not. It's a caster build for now until we get to the first Ascendency. So our passive skill tree will start with this from 1 to 5. From 6 to 20, we're going to be transitioning to a bit of a hybrid. It's kind of weird, but works really well. So at 6, we get Essence Drain. Of course, that's going to be our main clear. It's really strong. It's the best. But for bosses, the minions become really strong. So what we're going to be wanting to do with gear is on the wand we want plus all spell skills, or just chaos is fine too. And then on the helm we get +1 to minions. We can also get +1 to minions on scepter, on the amulet. And then enfolding dawn is really good. 100 spirit more is so much. What's going to be happening at this point on bosses is that our skeletal snipers are going to be all of our damage essentially. You're going to use their command skill to get that poison cloud under the boss, and then you either have to ignite the boss with the skeletal snipers and the fire attunement support gem, or you press volcano. Again, the cloud is going to explode whenever the boss is ignited. You don't really ignite the cloud itself. And here we're also going to be using Orb of Storms for a while for the chance of shocking the boss for a 20% more damage. And you can Essence Drain as well, weaving in whenever you can, if you don't have enough snipers to just spam the ability. Just to show you how the passive skill tree is going to look like at this point, we're going to get this minion stuff right here, and then we get spell damage here, which is pretty good, and the cast speed as well, even though it does not apply to the skeletal sniper's command skill. For now, we don't have anything better, but that's going to change right after this. Now we get to our first Ascendency, and everything completely changes. We are a full minion build now and forever from here on out, and we start slapping. Our gearing is going to look mostly the same, except now we don't need to be using a wand, we don't use spell skills anymore. Now we just want a shield for more defense. Our first Ascendency is going to be Kelari, and he's going to provide us with two abilities. And it's going to be Kelari's Brutality first, which is going to look this. It's a physical AoE, and it has two charges. And we're also going to have Kelari's Deception, which is also a physical damage AoE, but it has a relevant part to it that you really need to know about. Every time that you use the ability consecutively, it's going to deal 50% more damage. And how that works is that clone that you see right there, while it's still there, that's when it counts. Besides that, what there is to know about Kelari is that he has very high base crit hit chance on his abilities. It's 15% base crit hit chance. And he also has a passive 50% increased crit damage bonus. So we really want to lean into that. And whenever he hits something, he inflicts crit weakness. And crit weakness is 0.5%, stacking to crit hit chance debuff on the enemies. And that's up to 20 times that it stacks. So he's going to be our main part of the damage. He's going to be all the damage pretty much. And here you're going to be having the rotation. We're going to start with Pain Offering to buff all our minion damage. And then we're going to use Kelari's Brutality one time to get that charge, recharging. And then 3 times Deception, because remember, 50% more damage each time you use it consecutively. And then we're going to spend all the charges on the Brutality. And then if we still need to keep on going, which probably we will, on bosses, this is for bosses, we are going to spam Skeletal Sniper. And if we need to ignite the boss, you press the Volcano. Here's how the passive skill tree is going to look like at this point. We're going to do a bit of respecking, getting rid of all the spell damage and cast speed. We don't need that for anything at all. You're going to climb up here. You're going to go into the command side of, buffing minions. Cooldown recovery is super good too. We need that very much. And this is increased command damage. And if you go down here, you see area of effect and also cooldown recovery for minions. Revive is a little bit of a bonus, doesn't matter too much though. And up here, you're going to have damage on this side and crit hit chance and damage bonus on this one. It's also a little bit of a nice 10% gain. Physical damage is chaos for the minions, which we don't really get to take advantage of until a little bit later, but it's nice still. And remember that all of the support gems, all the skill gems are going to be on the Mobalytics guide that I'll link below. I know I'm going fast, but you can go here and check all of that out at your own pace. Now on to our second Ascendency, Ruzan. This Jin is going to be a fire Jin, and he's going to be giving us 2 abilities as well. And the first one is going to be Ruzan's Trap, which looks like this. He's going to put 8 runes on the ground that whenever an enemy steps over, it's going to become a tornado. And this tornado deals fire damage that persists over 4 seconds. It says that he's also going to give us Ruzan's Brand, which it's very difficult to show you how it actually looks like. It's kind of a living bomb. You brand the enemy and it will explode this brand after 3 seconds, dealing a whole bunch of fire damage in an AoE. This 50% more damage against burning enemies, which is probably going to be happening, that they're going to be on fire whenever you use this. And it has a limit of 3 active brands. This ability has no cooldown, so you can spam it, but you don't want to, because it takes 3 seconds to detonate, and no. And there's another thing to know about Ruzan, even though it doesn't matter too much. I'll still let you know. He has a passive that whenever you use a damaging skill yourself, so not a command skill, not from minions, it has to be something like Volcano, Ruzan will show up and do his attack, and that attack, besides dealing okay damage, will also apply exposure on whatever he hits. This effect has a 4-second cooldown. And it sucks. There's no point worrying about this, there's no point using any of these damaging skills. We're much better off just normally playing, just spamming our trap and then all of Kelari's stuff. Because as well, the exposure is like 5% on bosses. It stinks. It's really bad. There's no point worrying about this. So that's the stuff he does. And I go into a lot of detail here, maybe explain it a little better in text. And onto the support gems now. A little bit of a something to notice is that you want to replace bidding 1, bidding 2 on Kalari, get rid of brutality 2 for what hulking minions and then muster. Just keep an eye out on replacing stuff, leveling them up pretty much. Hulking Minions is a really good one. It's 20% more damage on whatever you put it in. But because our Djinns don't cost any spirit, it just says 20% more damage. It's really nice. And now Master. Master, you're going to see now that I'm going to have a whole bunch of different minions here. And they don't really have support gems. And that's completely fine. Because all of our damage is Kelari and Khuzan. We're going to want Master on both of them, especially. And just have as many minions as possible. By the way, they themselves also count as one minion, a persistent minion. And finally, having a Storm Mage is really nice, just to have that chance at shocking. It shocks pretty often. You should have one at all times. Another rotation becomes a little bit more complicated. You're going to want for bossing to precast a trap, right, before the boss even spawns. And then you start right off with Pain Offering to buff all our minions, 1 brutality to get that charger on cooldown, and then 3 times deception, 3 times always. You just trap on cooldown, and then you use all of your brutality charges. And then finally, the last thing is going to be the brand. 3 times as well, that's the limit. Our passive skill tree is going to look like this now. First of all, we're going to want to travel up to get more crit hit chance here. It's going to be really good because remember, Kalaris has 15% base crit hit chance. And we're going to want to go all the way up here. First, we get the reservation efficiency of minions. We also grab the area of effect here. It's also pretty nice. And finally, after that, we go over to this area, which is not as good, but it's what we get. Some revive, you get more tankiness on the minions. This is also 3% increased movement speed for ourselves, which is really cool. And here you have armor break, which is actually really, really good. This one is super good. Because besides just lowering over time the bosses, especially armor, whenever they're fully armor broken, that's 20% more physical damage received. 20% more. So essentially, it's having a second shock. It's really, really good. For our gearing, we want to keep on improving our level of all minion skills. That's the most important thing. But spirit too. That's the damage. It's pretty simple. And you can get +2 by this point on your amulet, your helm. I'll tell you all of the levels right here. This is the level of the areas you can start finding these at, but you can equip these earlier. For example, you start looting amulets that can roll +2 level to all minion skills at area level 41, but you may be able to equip it at, say, like 32. I don't remember exactly. So that's important for if you want to buy stuff off of trade. And now when it comes to reaching endgame, we start tier 1s all the way up to tier 15s. We need to change how we are going to be gearing because we are going to be really squishy if we keep on playing the same way. For one, when it comes to gear, we need to get rid of Enfolding Dawn because it gives us no tankiness, right? It just has to go in favor of a high energy shield body armor. And then the most significant thing after that is going to be Blasphemy. If you pair Blasphemy with Temporal Chains, all around you, everything is going to be slowed down to a crawl. White mobs are going to be slowed by like 40 to 50% immediately. Bosses is going to be much lower, maybe doesn't even get to 10%, but you don't need it as much on bosses at all. Convalescence is also really big because there's going to be a lot of situations where we don't get to naturally regen our energy shield because we keep getting hit, because we are burning or bleeding, and it's really going to help in those situations. You need to get it. But besides that, we just keep on doing the same thing. We keep on playing around Kalari and Khuzan, and we keep on spamming as many different minions as possible. And Cleric is a really good one that you should focus on too, besides Storm Mage, because, keeping the minions healed up actually helps, but also he's really cheap. He's the cheapest minion of all, and also he revives minions, which is cool. And now going over to our passive skill tree, it's going to still be the same when it comes to minion damage, but now we're going to go after maximum energy shield, especially, which is going to be up here, up there, it's going to be some here, and also need some energy shield recharge. It's going to help a lot. And now we're going to start to be using our weapon sets. On our weapon set 1 is going to be LR damage, and weapon set 2 is going to be our pain offering buffs. Here it's increased max life for the offerings, so they last longer before dying to damage. You have duration, you have also that one was area of effect. Over here, increased buff effect here too. The one annoying thing about this that I mentioned down here too is that we have to manually swap, because whenever you try to put your gens only on weapon set 1, when you go to weapon set 2, you lose all your charges. Nothing to do about that, you can't fix it. And that is all for this guide. This is going to be just the leveling guide. I'm going to make an endgame guide after. I hope I explained things decently. I hope it was an enjoyable video. Let me know if I forgot something. Let me know if you enjoyed the video. Please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and keep an eye out for streams on YouTube. I'm going to be streaming quite a bit of PoE 2 and other stuff, so keep an eye out. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.